Okay, that's it.
We are live. Uh-oh.
There's trouble.
What's going on, sister?
Man, not a whole lot. Just trying to keep it cool, which I know is true also where you are, right?
Oh yeah. Ooh, it's warm. I went for my run this morning and it's warm and we have the dang humidity because we had some weird, we're starting to get those like late afternoon showers that just make it more freaking humid.
Right.
So I'll survive. Like things are still really awesome. It's all good.
It is. So let us know where you are in the comments. Is it hot or cold? Where are you coming in from? Because we know we've got people all over. So that was exciting.
Yes, all over. And you're coming in from where, Alabama?
From Alabama. So we are somewhere in the top 5 for biodiversity. That's my bragging point.
That's funny.
Yeah. Number 1 for endemic species. So if you like darters, which is a type of fish, right? We have a lot here that you can only find in our creeks and rivers. So that's pretty
Super cool. So Maria, we are here. Well, should I call you the ConTech Financials lady?
That is, yeah. So sometimes people can't remember my name. So that's what we go with. So whatever you got.
Nice. So first time I see the little banner down there. Mm-hmm. It's the first live stream. So I guess that kind of alludes to there may be future live streams.
Perhaps, which is a pretty good song. So we are going to do, this is our first one. Yes. And we have some plans for some duets later on. We're still looking to get those 150 followers on our business page, but we did want to go ahead and do this one on my personal page so we can kind of hit it that way. But we will be doing, we're going to do deep dives into the services. So like, what is this particular service? What can I expect to get? Why would I need it? Right? Those kind of things. And then also we're going to be showcasing some of our partnerships. So those are always really exciting and good. Yeah. So extra things you can do.
So future, and we like what I think I heard is you want to be live streaming that from the ConTech Financials business page, but you got to have 150 subscriber followers. And so folks out there in the Omniverse, go to ConTech Financials on the LinkedIn, hit the follow button so we can help get that 150 mark. And I see Anais Torres coming in from Miami, Florida. What's up, sister?
Good afternoon, right? Because they're really having lunch. It's 12 o'clock there.
Yeah. It's 12 o'clock for them out there. Okay. And so, I mean, obviously you just kicked off this business page and you decided to do a live stream, but why?
Why? Well, there's a couple of reasons, right? Number 1, people can't call you if they don't know you're there. So there's number 1. So visibility. And then also just for getting people informed about what it is. So just because you know it's there, you still need a little bit more, right? So what exactly is it? Why do I need it? That sort of thing, like we were talking about with the services. So here we are. And it's predominantly focused on construction because that's where my little heart is, and the people that I enjoy serving the most are folks in construction. So, and then second to that is adding and subtracting, right? Or maybe it's the other way around. Adding and subtracting first, and then the construction industry. We'll see. Or you guys can tell me. Yeah.
So construction, like what's your, why construction? What is your relationship? Like, did you just wake up and say, I want to do this financial stuff in construction? What's that origin story?
Yeah. So in school, they don't teach you any software. Well, I take that back. They teach you how to, this is going to sound like I'm an engineer, but I promise you I'm not. Please don't ask me to do programming. But they teach you how to create a database, right? So Microsoft Access and things like that. But that's the only software they do. And they don't really do industry-specific things in school either. Now, specifically when I say school, I mean like accounting school, right? Okay. So I actually have all of my hours to sit for the CPA, but that wasn't exactly in my life plan. So when I first came into the big world, my job was at a roofing supplier. And to be honest, once I started hearing the guys, I'm trying to think if we ever had a girl. This was like, I want to say way back when, but it was my first big girl job. And so I'm not sure that I can't say that there were a lot of women. I don't think I ever saw a woman come in at the counter, but it's neither here nor there. What I mean is the people used to come in and place their orders, and it was their vocabulary that attracted me. So there was a lot of, we'll say, just free language, right? No proper English and having to worry about how you were speaking, except to be like, kind when you were speaking. So I really liked that. And I've learned a lot of new words while I've been here. And so my favorite, not to be controversial or anything, but I really kind of am partial to jackwagon.
Yes.
Yeah. So there's just words like that. And I thought, well, these are my people. So let's see what we can do for them.
Okay. And so that you got a background, you got your education in accounting. So you have a lot of knowledge, a lot of experience there. Got the job at the roofing company and said, man, these are my type of people. I like hanging out with these folks, these jackwagons.
These jackwagons.
And then so you were in construction, working on the financial side, accounting side of the business for what, 5, 10, 15 years?
I think I made it to almost 10, almost a decade.
Okay. Nice. Okay. So firsthand, you've been helping project managers, project executives, business unit managers deal, understand, learn, teach, or just fill in the gaps for them in terms of the back end of the accounting, business project financials. Yeah.
Yes, that is a very accurate statement. And I would take it a step further and say that, there's a lot of, construction kind of got left behind with technology, right? They came out with the bookkeeping softwares and they said, okay, have a nice day, right? And so now what we're seeing is construction getting a lot more attention as far as technology goes. And I think that's beautiful and wonderful. And somebody has to help them learn how to use it. So that's kind of where my strong skills are, right? Are taking these big, complex financial regulation things that we have to do, and then combine those with our previous processes, right? Take the good out of the old, and then bring it forward into new software.
Okay, so what I'm hearing is like you can help, because every business has some kind of methodology, system, software, whatever, whiteboard, right? Like. As some way they're managing their financials.
Yep.
And what I'm hearing is the ConTech Financials lady can help them translate or upgrade, integrate the digital services or softwares that are available out there in the world today that'll like minimize their pain.
Yes, that part, minimize pain. That's where I want to be.
Nice, very nice. Okay, I see we got Mr. Abdur coming in from Bangladesh. We are global.
Well, we are. Thank you so much for coming in.
Now, during the prep, you said something about some kind of raffle or like what's that about?
Yes. So as promised, we talked about a good raffle. So, and we'll keep it open for a little bit and draw a little bit later, probably in about 20 minutes. But the keyword is going to be forecast. So if you're interested in getting a kind of like a sample training for forecasting, specifically inside Procore. So that's the platform that we would be doing the training in. And so if you'll just drop forecast in the comments, the software is going to pick it up and we'll do a drawing here in a little bit.
Awesome. You heard it, folks. So forecast, FORECAST. Drop it in the comments to get your name in the raffle, spinaroo, randomizer thing. And then you get to spend more time with Miss Maria. And so now you said Procore. And so the service that you're providing, helping people with is is it you're teaching them how to use Procore? Are you doing the button pushing for them? Where in that? Because there's a lot of stuff when you start getting into that world, right?
It's a very big place, isn't it? Yeah. So what we've seen, or at least what I've noticed in the industry, is that folks have been getting real comfortable and loving Procore in all of the, we'll say, the project team side of the tools, right? So your drawings, submittals, different things like that. They're all over it and they love it, and that's great. And now people are so comfortable in those other modules that they're looking to, what you said, you dropped it earlier, integrate their financial pieces. And so number one, use them, how to use them in Procore. And then number two, how to integrate them. So that's one of my favorite things. So if you have any trouble with not being able to integrate some of your financial items, definitely come talk so we can get you all the way hooked up. That's a really crucial part, is to be able to have all of your financial data hooked up and not just parts of it. So that's one area. And I heard you talk about, am I a button pusher? Sometimes. So what you're also seeing is that once we get into this financial area of Procore and just integrating ERPs at all with other project management software, is how to get it in there, right? And so having that once you've got it in there, now you need somebody to, in most cases, to click a button, right? So there's a gatekeeper that lets the data through. Like, yes, it's an opportunity. Yes, this project team member entered the information correctly, and yes, I approve it to go into our bookkeeping software. So that is a button pusher. And if you're currently, we'll say, either lost your button pusher, right? Because we know sometimes people leave and they get different jobs, or you're just coming into the place at all and you're like, well, I don't know who I want to be my button pusher, or do we need to hire a dedicated person to transfer that kind of data and monitor it? So those kind of areas, I would most certainly call myself a button pusher and be available. So if you're in that sort of transitional phase, or we're not really sure, we just need an admin to make sure our data keeps flowing, then definitely I would be into that.
Okay, so what I'm hearing is, one, you can like school somebody up, and like they know the words. Like, I don't even know what ERP means, but if they've got experience with some accounting knowledge and project knowledge, you can help, and you can just help. Like, hey, let me show you how to go play in Procore. That's one level. Then there's another level of like, man, I want to do this, but I personally don't have the bandwidth, and I don't have anybody on staff to do that. You could do that. You would be willing to do that also as a service, obviously.
Yes, as a service. Very good. And so to help, thank you for letting me know about that. I used an acronym that wasn't familiar. So for everyone else, ERP is Enterprise Resource Planning. And the context in which I'm using it is to just a blanket statement for whatever software you have that is your bookkeeping software. So here's another good one, is if you need help picking out a new bookkeeping software, I also love to do that. So listening to people's, we're talking about previous processes, right, that you're looking to update. So I love listening and discovering what kind of things you guys are currently doing. And then not only that, but the takeaways, right, of what you would want in a new platform, and then going out into the world, making you a nice little A3, here's 2 or 3 choices, right? And then presenting that back for final choice.
Okay. So you could help do the intel gathering based on my particular situation. Here's what you would recommend, because I mean, I've played around with Procore, and that thing is a behemoth in terms of functionality.
Yes.
And it may be way more than I need. Maybe I just need like this little second grader version of whatever that is. And you would be able to source that out and then say, hey, here you go, Jess, this is your speed, training wheels, bumper guards, and all. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. But that's a fair point. Some people like to do it in phases, right? So let's say we just want to get all our project teams used to using how to do Procore Financials. That's one phase by itself. Okay. And then hooking it up to your bookkeeping software would be another phase.
Okay. So let's think that's really interesting to me, because I know I work with a lot of people that let's do like release the Kraken, do everything right now. And that's like really stressful for the field staff out there because they already have a job.
Yeah.
Doing new things is a new job.
Yes.
But this idea of like a phased approach, that feels like a little less scary. So if I was entertaining the idea of, well, just, I'm going to call it digitizing my accounting, I like the idea of like, oh, there's a phased approach. And so what I'm hearing is you have like maybe a step-by-step way to like, well, let's see where you're at. And we can start here, get this foundation in place, and then go to the next phase, and then the next phase, and the next phase. Now, my question is this: do you just do that for like project specific, like job site specific situations, or is it for like enterprise, like the whole company type situation? Where, like, is there a differentiation for you, or it's just like it's all the same to you?
Yeah. So I would say bookkeeping softwares are all the same. Sorry, I know some of them are really cool. And as far as phased approaches, for me, it's really more of like, what are you looking for? How is it you want it to go? Did you want to pilot just that one first project and get that first project team to be those subject matter experts, and they used it first and then they can help everybody else? Or do we want to maybe, I've seen it done by departments too. That's one of the ways that I tackled things at a previous employment, right? Is just by divisional offices. So if you want to get all of your government office or all of your Miami office, then you're able to do that. So it's really just a personal preference, and I'm always ready for a new plan.
Okay, nice. Okay, so what I heard is like, yes, and right, if it's a project by project thing or it's an enterprise thing, then we can do business unit or geography by geography or whatever that rollout plan needs to look like. You're down to help people there. So how do I know that I should call you? Or not just you, but anybody that provides the type of services? Like what's the signal besides just saying, man, she was cool and fun and I want to hang out?
Yeah, and I say I tell really good jokes, right?
Yes.
So besides my jokes, reasons that I would reach out to me is that, we mentioned that construction is just now getting all of this attention for technology, right? So a lot of folks are still hanging out with that first bookkeeping software that they picked out in the 80s, right? So that's fine, and it was your first one, right? And so now you guys kind of have the hang of it, and so now it's time to kind of upgrade. So those kind of people, folks who have had the same tech stack for a long time, or since that application first came out, that would be a good one. I know there's a lot of people that are being forced to upgrade with QuickBooks, for example, or even Sage right now. And so just kind of being able to take that second look around the market and say, is this really the best? I know that we've been together for a long time, but is there anything else that would be better suited for our needs? Right. So maybe you've grown, or you've gotten new divisions. Maybe you now self-perform a lot of stuff. Maybe you have a like kind of personal supply store, right? That's just for your projects, different things like that. And so the original bookkeeping software you picked out may not be the best one. So that's one example. Another one would be if you've already got Procore and you're hooking up the financials for the first time, or you want to take a new look at your financials, that would be a great one. Especially in regards to integrating, right? So there's a few things that we can do differently there if you're not getting all of your financial data translated and integrated into your bookkeeping software. Yeah. And then if you're looking for mass reporting, right? So if you like getting integrated, first off, using Procore and then getting integrated is fun and cool. But now what, right? Because there's other people that need the end results of those data. And so getting that onto cash flows and different things like that, we have an excellent partner to be able to do that. So a little bit of, and I hope nobody gets their feelings hurt when I say this, but Power BI was the first one of its kind doing that, right? Yeah, and so I'm not going to say it's old or antiquated, but I will just say it was the first. So there's lots of things that have happened in between then and now. as far as having alternates and different things like that. So I know some people don't like Power BI and some people swear by it. So I'm somewhat in the middle, and I understand that there's other things that we can use now.
Got it. Got it. Okay. Now, so I'm thinking, who, in terms of like the person that gets the most benefit, and when I say person, I really mean role, title, if you will. Who is that person? What is that title that will get the most value out of hanging out with you, doing all this magical forecast stuff?
Yeah, well, that's kind of a hard question, and it makes me feel a little bit full of myself. So I'm not sure if there's a bad or lesser person that would enjoy it. But I will say that we'll do it by passion level, right? And so my passion level first and foremost would be for those admin folks that are inside of Procore and trying to internally help their project teams and their upper management. So that kind of I don't know, what do we call that, where it's like that point right there in the middle, the teeter point? Yeah.
So admin folks.
Yeah, I'd say so. So that your button pushers, your data entryers, I feel like they would get the most value because then they'd be able to help the people above them and on their project teams, right? So they can help the front office after we talk, and then they can also help their project teams.
Got it. How about project managers? Do they deal with that, or?
They do a lot. Yeah. So it's a great point. So there are some places, and it's all going to depend on roles, right? And
Yep.
what you guys do at your place, guys and girls. And so sometimes it's those project team members, the project managers, or even the senior PMs, project directors too, because then they're being given this report from Procore and it's new. How do I read this? What do I do with it? How am I supposed to gain any, insights from this? So definitely right there. But the project managers for sure, because they're being asked to, kind of like what you were saying earlier, they're being asked to do all this new stuff. And they're like, I'd rather not. Can I just put it in 3 minutes like I used to? Yeah.
Right. What's wrong with my spreadsheet?
Yeah.
Oh man, you leave me alone.
Sorry, guys. We're not laughing at you. We're laughing with you.
Yeah. And now, like in my head, I feel like what I'm hearing is anybody, and when I say anybody, I want to be clear in that I'm talking people in the GC space, freight contractors, and vendors and suppliers. Are people that you would be happy to help. Yeah.
Yes. I love all the words you just said.
Okay. And in terms of your career, what I think I know is that you've spent most of your time on the GC side of the business.
I did, and specifically job costing. So it was a good time, and I learned a whole lot.
Yeah. Okay. And so, regarding all the services that you provide and the different relationships and people that you've been able to interact with, which ones are your favorite? Like, what work is your favorite? What type of problems are your favorite?
Okay, that one's better. I can hit you there. What kind of problems are my favorite, right? Or opportunities. So my favorite opportunities are integrating those financial pieces, right? So I can help you all day with how to use it, but when you talk about hooking it up, like I internally get really excited. So, and then and it's not always just one connection, right? So a lot of people have these third-party platforms, we'll say like invoicing. So I also like shopping for those, and different things like that they have to get that financial data into once they get it into the bookkeeping. Now it's got to go somewhere else. So.
Okay.
And untangling all that.
Got excited. Like, ooh, the integration. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was like, and untangling it. So sometimes, like if something happens in that third party platform, you've got to trace it all the way back and then like unhook it, right? First in, first out, and then put it all back together. So it's kind of like engineering, but with data.
Okay. So what I just heard is that there's another little segment there. Like if somebody did it Jesse style, which means just try it. And now it's a tangled freaking mess. you could come and help me untangle that mess.
Yes. And it's one of my favorite things to do.
Oh, that's all right, folks. You heard it. So you've been doing this ERP. I'm going to try to sound fancy with the letters.
Yes, do
ERP, accounting, integrations, cost projection stuff, and you jacked it up. Maria, the forecast financial lady, can help you with that. And she's going to be excited to help you with that. See, we got Tiffany Artigas. How you doing? Coming in from Florida. Want to remind people you drop the word forecast in the comment, and we'll be doing a little raffle here to hang out with Miss Maria. So forecast hashtag. I don't even think it needs to have the hashtag, but anyways, thank you all for being. I'm wondering, folks out there that are watching in the Omniverse, y'all got any questions for Miss Maria? ConTech Financials. What does it mean? What are all the things? Drop them in the comments, and I think we'll do our best to answer. Well, not me. Maria will answer them. I'm just here for comedy relief. So I know you got your page, right? Your ConTech Financials page. Again, the goal is to hit 150. So folks, if you're not following now, please do. But where else can people find you? Like if somebody catches the replay of this and says, dang it, I missed it. I got a question. I want to talk to, how can they make that happen?
Yeah. So that's a great one. So let's do a couple of things here too. So number one, we should be, operative word should, be recording today. So this is like my first time. It's a little bit of an experiment, right? So as long as that the recording is true and made it for us, we're going to turn around and put it on YouTube. So we also have a YouTube channel for everything. And so that will be there in case you missed today. If you had other plans for lunch, or maybe you didn't get a lunch, I know it never happens, but you know, then it'll be available for you to watch at like 3:00 lunch or whatever that is for you, right? Or tomorrow's lunch. So that's a good one. And then number two, we do have this website, right? So if you're looking to book time, this is a great way to go ahead and get on the calendar and save your spot. And we do have a phone number, of course, and then our awesome services are listed down here.
Okay. So we can go get more like into the nitty gritty of what it is you do and who you help. And I see the word ERP there again. So
there we go.
I just got 2 extra IQ points because I keep saying ERP.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming there's a place on there. If I wanted to schedule like a one-on-one call with you, I could click a button and schedule a call and have some fun.
Yes, it's generally the only button that's available. So that's what you can choose to do.
Nice. Very nice. Now, in terms of like helping people out, is this like an in-person, like heavy, high touch, high contact thing? Or is this like a virtual call, like regularly scheduled calls? What does that look like?
Yeah. So we talked a lot about already, like what's best for your organization, right? Or you guys want to go super, super fast and you're behind and, oh my gosh, we need to hurry up, right? That might be a little bit more of a higher touch client than somebody who's like, well, we're thinking about upgrading our bookkeeping software and we think we want to hook Procore up and we're not really sure, right? So that's a little bit more of a longer engagement. And we'd be doing different things. So I'd say it all really just depends on what you need is what we're there to do.
Okay. So what I heard is there's flexibility based on the need and the intensity of the engagement. And so we got 2 things. It looks like DeLorean dropped the link to your website. So folks, the link is in the chat. Hit it up, schedule a call, do all the things. Don't forget to follow the ConTech Financials page. And then Tiffany asks a question, and I sure as hell answer to this. She says, what are you most excited about that's on the horizon in the confin sector? Man, I'm learning all kinds of new words.
Yes. So construction financials, right? They were just, I was just getting used to ConTech myself. And so now we actually see that there's another little acronym short thing, and it's that ConFin, right? So it's construction financials. So I would have to say, let's see if I can. I'm going to get now. This is without looking it up real quick, but from what I understand, the big deal right now is everybody getting into cloud bookkeeping software. Okay, so we talked about, hey, this is your first one that you picked out in the 80s. We're so glad you got in there. Nobody's using a, like carbon copy book or anything, like an actual ledger that I learned how to use in school with a red pencil or anything like that. I don't have those, and y'all shouldn't either. So congrats for being in there. Now you're modern, right? Digitized, and what people are really doing now is moving up to the cloud. And I would say on top, a second one for me would be those aggregated reports that we were talking about. So I would start looking at things that are, and I'm so sorry to say again, but not using Power BI, right? So there's a couple of, and we'll just kind of point them out real quick, right? It's the fact that it doesn't upgrade fast enough. So people are used to typing in the new forecast or whatever they need their data to be, and it doesn't show up until about 24 hours later. So that's a huge, yeah, it's a huge problem. And then also you can't print. So
I know that.
Yeah, we know that. And I do fully understand Girl Scouts Honor Promise that, it's not intended to be printed. Okay. So it's intended to be live in there, insights right there. And that's awesome. And our people in the industry still are expressing a need for that paper. Now, I hope for sure that they're printing to PDF. That one's my favorite, and that's what I like to think they're doing. So not not really printing, but they're just looking at it in a PDF manner. And so that's probably the second way. So I'll go ahead and drop one of our awesome partners. This is going to be Acute. And so that's something that they really pride themselves on, and they use API calls, right? Instead of this database of data that just updates every 24 hours.
Okay. So this cloud-based thing, what'd you call it? Cloud-based accounting?
Well, yeah. So like Procore is already cloud-based, right?
Okay.
Okay. And most of the things that we're doing nowadays, that's where everybody's moving to. So it's my understanding, again, I'm not exactly an engineer. DeLorean may be able to help us out more with this language. But from what I understand is that it's safer, more modern, easier to do, but it also includes like a different language that they write in. Right. And so it's able to do that increased security and different things like that, just inherently from the way that it's written. That's what I understand about it. But that's as much as I understand.
And so what I'm curious about is kind of like, instead of having the 24-hour delay, does being in the cloud, like, I know this is a goofy question, but it's just my brain. Does that mean if I'm in the cloud, that means I'm going to have instant access to the latest information, or is there still that delay built into whatever that service is?
Yeah. So, well, first off, it depends. So if you had a cloud-based accounting system and you're still hooking it up to Power BI, you would still have that delay. Right. I think they're working on some things, especially at Procore. They may just release something to help with that. But you have to purchase that analytic package, right? And so there's some different things going on like that. The modern ones that I see as far as aggregated reports are doing what they call API calls. And I smell an article that needs to be written here somewhere. So what they're doing is, it's kind of like, this is my favorite example to use or comparison to use for this, which would be sorry, I was reading the comments. I got distracted. An Uber system, right? What happens when you call an Uber? You tell it the address, and you tell it where to pick me up and where I want to go. So that's about how API calls work, is you give them an address, they go pick up the data, and then they bring it back to wherever you wanted it to go. And so there's a couple of things they can do inside of that. Some companies can modify that data for you. So if you ever see something that got Jessied, right, then you could say, hey, this is actually supposed to be forecast with an exclamation point instead of just forecast, right? And so it could get that information, understand that it needs to be changed, and then write it back. So there's a lot of cool things that are going on, but it's really centered over getting everybody into clouds, all the platforms into clouds, and then using those Uber drivers for data.
Awesome. Awesome. And yeah, the comments are blowing up. So let's say again, remind everybody, because we're going to be doing it pretty soon. If you just jumped on, drop the word forecast in the comments so we can make sure and get your name in the hopper for the grand prize that's going to be given away here. DeLorean asked, is the partner acute? She dropped in. Man, DeLorean's being super helpful here, dropping links and everything.
She's on it. I may or may not like her a lot.
Yeah.
So this is my Christmas time bunny, but also we went to school together once upon a time. So very, very awesome. And thank you so much for getting those links. That's really, really rad of you. So acute is spelled a little bit different in this case. So it's actually a company from Australia. And so they're looking to now, we'll say, break into the US market with the cool stuff they made. So yeah. cash flows, and to be honest, their main thing is kind of like me, right? It's like, if you need it, then we'll build it.
Okay. So like partnering, mirror, but help people out. As one grows, we all grow. I know that to be true 100%. So Tiffany says Analytics 2.0 beta. Man, I'm feeling really smart. Analytics 2.0 beta is out and is now updating every hour. Lots of work to do the transition from Analytics 1.0 to 2.0. Totally different tables. What does that mean?
Yeah. Let's talk about that. That's a good one. And thank you so much, Tiffany, for doing. My words were totally out the door. So it's in beta. So I knew it was coming, but I didn't know if they had publicly released it yet. So I didn't want to mess in anybody's parade, because it's not mine to announce. But so the analytics, people already have that. You can purchase it separately from Procore, and it is access to that data that we were talking about. And you either pair it with something like Power BI, because there's a couple of competitors inside the Power BI market too. And so you could do that. And so it looks like what they've done. And I was curious about the interval, right? So I didn't want to say it was immediate because I couldn't confirm. So thank you so much again, Tiffany, for that. So it looks like every hour you would have new data, right? But even that inherently is a long time. So we're talking about this, I'm sorry, not sorry, but this is what happens out in the field, right? The project manager says, oh, my meeting's at 10 o'clock. I better go ahead and do this. And then they're going in there and they're doing it. Okay. It's the reality of the situation. I'm not saying anything's bad or people did a bad job, right? It just happens. Maybe they're on 10 projects and they've got to do it 10 times. It's a thing. So having to wait an hour is really rough, right? Yeah. Especially to somebody who can just go into their Excel spreadsheet and update their numbers and turn in their paper on a PDF.
Yeah. No, there's in my head, I've had to deal with this back in a different life. We had job reviews, and I completely agree. And Tiffany says, an hour is too long. Agreed. Yeah. And we had every month we had these damn product or job reviews where we were going through the financial health of the project. And I was a superintendent, and I was attached to 8 different projects. This was on the trade side of the business. And job reviews are on Wednesday. Tuesday, my phone is blowing up from every damn project manager wanting to update financials. And I'm like, y'all realize I have 8 of you calling me on the same day for the same thing, for not an emergency out of sequence meeting. This is a we know it's happening. And because we got to get it done by noon, because if we don't get it done by noon, the dynamics is not going to like, that's not my problem. I got issues on the job site to deal with. And so part of it is just like a really self-management thing, right? That was my argument to them. Like, come on, man. It's on Wednesday. We could have done this. I'm totally down to do this on Saturday. Right. I've got, you got boundaries, so do I. Don't be calling me at the last damn minute, right? So there's that, but there's also 24 hours, like nowadays, negatory, not acceptable. An hour, that's stinky.
Yeah.
But I guess what my takeaway is we're getting there, right? There has been progress. Now, you already know that I'm biased to the field. And Jennifer asked a question.
She did. It looked really good.
what did she say? She said, what do you think the block or what's the block between the field and the financial stuff that you deal with? What do you see as the biggest
Ooh,
disconnect between accounting and the field?
that's so juicy. Thanks, Jen. Yeah, that's a really juicy topic. So, what do I think is the biggest disconnect between accounting and the field? I would have to say it's communication. And I feel like that's probably a lot of what you would say when other topics arise, right? Like about the drawings, you'd say communication. But for financials, it really is true. And when we're talking about accounting in the field, we're talking about the people like cutting the checks and working inside of that bookkeeping software. So what is it they need to communicate to the field? And you kind of already hit on it, Jesse. It's that part where, when is this due? Why is it important that it's due? Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And so one of my favorite things to do is to actually create a calendar for this kind of things, right? And just to help people understand where their task fits into the greater whole. So if you hear from your job site admin that all of your invoices need to be in on the 10th, okay, sure. Yep, you got it. But if you hear from accounting that if you want a check cut on Friday, you will have your invoices in by Wednesday or they won't be included, that's a different conversation.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden it's, oh, I need to get my invoices in by Wednesday so that I can get the check cut on Friday and they don't take their crane and go home.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because that's what they're going to do, right?
Yes.
Oh, you didn't pay me. I told you I needed it and you were already behind. So now me and my crane are going to go home.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's a real situation. So I like, instead of, for me, what I took from what you just said was, I mean, hell, just about every damn problem I get involved with is a communication problem. But what I heard you say was it's communicating the expectation and the consequences associated with complying or deviating that help people understand the implications of their actions.
Yes.
Gangsta.
Yes.
Well, I'm wondering, do you think we should do the little raffle?
Is it draw time? Yes. Yes. Okay. All right. So let's see if I can do this.
Do the share. And while you're figuring that out, I want to say thank you to every DeLorean. She had to bounce. Tiffany, thank Terry Proffer in the house.
Oh no. Did it not work? Maybe we can refresh.
Yeah. Yeah. Refresh and then hit draw.
Oh, sure thing.
We're experimenting here.
Yes. And we appreciate.
It's coming. It's coming.
We'll see if it works now. It'll be a surprise.
Yeah. We didn't pick it up.
Not. If it doesn't, then that's okay too.
Well, here, let's do it. Let's do it Jesse style.
Huh? Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Since you don't, well, I'm sure you know some of these people, but I'm going to let you randomly pick. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, so I see. So Terry said forecast. Jennifer said forecast. Who else? Can you scroll up on the comments?
I think I saw Tiffany. Yeah, I'll double check you. Tiffany definitely said it. And I think
Tiffany, Terry, Jen. Okay. So you're going to have to pick.
We'll stop streaming.
You're going to pick a number 1 to 3.
Oh, this is easy. I already know my favorite.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I am.
Okay, it's this one. 2.
Okay. 2. Terry, because he starts with a T,
is
number 2. So Terry Proffer won the dang won the whatchamacallit.
The draw.
The draw. Terry won the draw. Yeah. And I'm almost glad there wasn't 20 because I don't know how the hell we would have done it.
Yeah, same. I was really happy to see our engagement was that way, because really that's it lets us know that only some people are interested in forecasting, and then let's give it to them, right?
Yeah. Well, you know what? I see something here. Jennifer says she remembers when Maria shared a calendar with the field personnel, and they were like so excited to actually know when things had to happen.
Yeah.
It gives me an idea, Maria.
Oh, I
Like,
love
what if
ideas.
you had a little template, formula of whatever calendar for people that have that problem to download? Like, hey, if you have this issue
Ooh.
where plug these dates in and then use this as a communicator for your teams, like a nice little downloadable in exchange for their email.
Yeah, that sounds like a whole thing. I do have one.
Ah,
Um, I just didn't think about sharing it. So that's a good, well, I mean, yes, sharing it, but in a different way.
yeah.
Um, so that's a good one. And then that'll be a nice little take home item for folks. So we'll see about getting that. I'm going to make myself an old fashioned note. And so I did want to just make sure that, not make sure, but I want to make sure and mention that, remember how we said always be ready for a new plan?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was like the beginning of the call. So thank you all for your understanding with the way that the random draw didn't work. But here we are with it actually having to make a new plan and then go manual. So there's always another way around, even when software is involved. Yep.
Yes. Okay. So what question did I forget to ask?
I don't know that you forgot it. We kind of touched on everything we were going to talk about. I guess the only thing I feel a little bit less on is going to be my favorites, but we kind of already talked about them throughout. So we'll just highlight them again one more time and then let people go back to their awesome lunches that they're having right now at lunchtime. So the first one that really gets me going is those integrations, right? So if you're having any issues at all with integrating your financial data from Procore or any other system, please reach out. Let's get that taken care of for you so that you can walk in peace, right? As far as financials go. And then also trainings. So we were saying, is this hybrid? Are you going in person? Where is it? Number one, it's for your needs, right? And then number two, I do love to do training. So either virtual or in person, particularly in person, are a little bit more fun because you get to see those project team members and interact with them. So I do love that. And aggregating reports, right? So those are pretty much the big things. And then, of course, any topic inside of that for training or implementation that's financials, I still love to do. And I can help you in other parts of Procore, but it just wouldn't be as fun.
I love it. Yeah, we can have fun. Let's not do that.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, folks. So there you have it. The ConTech Financial lady has spoken. This is the first live stream. Fair warning, there's more to come. Terry, you won the deal. Terry
Yay.
says he loves financials. So y'all, I'm sure you'll follow up and connect with them. The link to your website is in the chat. So folks, go check out that link, schedule some one-on-one time with Miss Maria, and also tell your friends, tell your mom, tell everybody to go to the business page and follow it. The goal is to get to 150 so that the future live streams will be coming out of the ConTech Financials business page on LinkedIn. Yeah?
Yes, that is the goal. And thank you so much to everybody who already has. We're almost there. It was really close. So it's almost to 100. So thank you everybody for doing that push. And we really did try to get in there before the end of July, but I didn't want to go back on my word. So here we are.
Yeah. Well done.
Yeah. All right. Awesome. Well, that's it. We'll give everybody a few more minutes. Thank you for coming.
Yeah. Y'all have fun, y'all. Peace.